like try to call you Amaka or like Chicho, like, oh,
Okay,
what's
they
the
don't
short name? I'm
shorten.
like, no, my name is Chiamaka, like Chiamaka. Let's say it slowly, like I'm like, it's
Chiamaka.
okay. And you know, say it slowly. For real, that's how I pronounce my name in America. But for me, it's important that people know how to spell my name, right? It's like you can pronounce it how you want, but as long as when it's but I will tell people, like, take college is only 4 years. Take advantage of everything. Study abroad, right? I studied abroad in Paris, even though I was already in America.
Study abroad.
Yeah, I studied abroad. Being involved in a lot of different organizations. Like I joined like book club in honest, but I did so many things in college that helped me figure out like who I was and the things I liked, the things that I enjoyed, the kind of friends I liked. So college is only 4 years and it's going to go by quickly, whether you're doing it or not doing it. So I would say get involved. You don't know how any of those experiences are going to come up in the future. So like even now in like the workplace, there are like experiences that I have from college that I can relate to with my colleagues because I like went out there and I did all these things. So just
have a rich
get involved.
experience.
Take all do as much as you can. 4 short years is gonna go by so quickly, but those experiences stay with you forever.
All right, welcome guys. Welcome back to Hello Younger Me. Like I said, Dr. Chiamaka is here with us. We are so grateful for her coming back. So today we're gonna start off by trying to get to know Dr. Chiamaka a bit better and learn about her own F1 journey in the States. And so the first question we have for her is, who was Dr. Chiamaka growing up? Were you an introvert or extrovert? How did your childhood lead you to the United States of America?
All right. I think I was definitely an introvert growing up. I went to boarding school, like a federal boarding school, so like the actual, correct boarding school. I know some of you guys went to private boarding schools. It's a bit different. I went to FGDC Shagamu. So I really was like, made out. My parents made sure I got like brute and force education. But no, I've always I like books. I always liked to study. I was always top of my class. But I never really thought that I would go to the US. I mean, like my parents definitely could not have afforded to send me to the US. So it wasn't like even a thing that was on my mind. But a series of incidents happened as I finished school with just like WIAC and NECO and school and all of these things. And I remember we were thinking about what to do. I went and did a foundation program in Unilag for 1 year. And afterwards, we had to really decide. My parents and I had to decide what to do next. And I remember somebody saying, "Oh, have you considered going to the US?" And we were like, "We can't afford a US education." They're like, "Oh, but actually, you can get scholarships and all this things. It's possible." Okay. Okay, well, we'll see. So then we went to Education USA, which is in the US Embassy, right? And we applied. And we're like, well, at the end of the year, we'll see, we'll look at what the best options were, whether it was going back to Unilag, or if a school in the US gave us a good opportunity, then maybe we explore that. So that's kind of how I ended up in the US. It's just a series of unfortunate incidences that even led us to consider getting a US education. Okay. Yeah.
And so you mentioned you were in Unilag. What were you studying in Unilag?
Chemical engineering. So I'd always known that I wanted to be a chemical engineer. Okay. I liked math. My father actually taught us all math growing up, but I really liked math. And I also liked chemistry. And in fact, true story, I thought to myself, I like math and I'm good at math. I need to pick a major that had a lot of math in because then I would be sure that I would get a lot of A's. And so I didn't want to study just math. Literally, I was like, what is the easiest path to making all A's? Okay. But I didn't just want to get a straight math degree because I wasn't really sure what one did with a math degree.
Work with that, yeah.
Well, okay. I could do engineering. It had some math. I also liked chemistry. So I was like, all right, it'd be a win-win. So yeah. So I always knew I wanted to be a chemical engineer.
You picked a career based on your love for math. That is so not me. I'm like, wait for this. Okay. So you mentioned Education USA. I actually did that too. Yes. So I don't know if I completely so from my own experience with them was I after I finished my work and
Mm-hmm.
NECO, I moved to Abuja with my parents. They moved
Mm-hmm.
there before me. And then we had to in the embassy too, there was Education USA. But I think
Yeah.
all I really used them for was to study. You know, they had like some
Mm.
resources on like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
applying and like they had like a study lounge, so I'd go there to study for the
Mm.
SATs. But beyond that, that was honestly the only thing I think I used them for. So was your own more
Oh, you didn't tap into their whole resources. Yeah, like Education
okay.
USA, like literally guides you from after YA can like helps you like look at I mean they have advices, right, that guide you through like looking at schools,
Okay.
looking at your essays. I mean, you can
Okay.
set up your essays in your lounge, and then yeah, the whole shebang. I mean, but that's sort of like where I got the like I had education years when I was trying to go to America, but not many people know what education USA's do. And
Yeah.
not many people can afford to use education USA's
Mhm.
resources, right? I mean, they have limited resources for those. They have resources for those who have like limited funds, but like they're like scholarships that are hard to get. So it's like we
Mhm.
can do something just like that, but on a smaller scale, more intimate, because they're working with a large number of students, right? So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
All right. We'll keep that in mind.
yeah.
So everything happened. You found yourself using Education USA, and you were able to get to the United States. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so your path from there, did you? I know this answer already, but for the people, did
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
did you choose to go? So there are two major parts: community college or a 4-year bachelor. So
Mm-hmm.
which one did you end up going with, and how was your experience there?
Yeah. So I ended up going to 4-year college, but I always knew that I was going to 4-year college. I didn't have a lot of experience with what a 2-year college was like, what community college was like, anyways.
Yeah.
So all my application was geared towards a 4-year college that had scholarships, because it was if I didn't get scholarships, I would not have come to America. That
Mhm.
just was not gonna happen.
Okay.
So yeah, I went to 4-year college. I applied to 10 schools. I got into 8. I got into all the schools.
Okay.
They all had a
Nice.
variety of funding. And so like, the amount I went to the school that gave me the maximum amount of funding. That's what I like to tell people. Because like people who like met when I went to Texas Tech, right? And in Lubbock, people were like, oh my goodness, how did you find this place from Nigeria? I'm like, they gave me the most funding.
I know,
I
right?
don't
That's
have any other attachments in this place. Relax. So yeah.
Lord. Okay. All right. So Texas Tech, Lubbock, Texas.
Yes. Lubbock,
Um,
Texas.
and so you came there after like a year of Unilag schooling, right? You came to
Yeah,
engineering.
yeah. So I went to UNOC for a year. I had a year break, and then I came to the
Okay.
US.
So basically, you
Mm-hmm.
spent your whole life in Nigeria, and then you come to
Pretty
this.
much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Lubbock, is it a relatively big city, or it's like a mid-sized? I don't
Well,
get that.
people who grew up in Lubbock will tell you that it's a big city. I mean,
So
it's a medium-sized city in the
okay.
middle of nowhere.
Okay. All right.
Cornfields, that kind of
Okay.
vibes.
So you come from you grew up in Lagos, right?
Mm-hmm,
Okay,
mm-hmm,
Lagos to Lubbock, Texas.
mm-hmm.
Um, how was the culture shock for you? Like, was
Mm.
because mine, I came in the winter. I'm like, what's this? And then it's
Yeah.
different. They speak differently. They're always asking me to repeat what I say. So it's like
Mm.
it was just a lot. So how was your own
Yeah.
culture shock experience?
I mean, I would say first of all that the sun in Lubbock was hot. Like I definitely like got 2 shades darker like
Did you
when I was
come in
in
the
Lubbock.
summer?
Yeah, I came in the
Okay.
fall. So
Okay.
like August, it's like 100 degrees, and like literally was like 2 shades darker. That was very interesting because I didn't know what sunscreen was. I didn't even know what sunscreen was until like after college. So to be fair, I'm just now learning. 5 years later, I'm still learning sunscreen is important. Um, but aside from that, I mean, it was very interesting. Like you said, like always having to repeat yourself. I made it a duty to always, go by Chiamaka. I tell this story, but like I made sure. Well, I've always even
What's your
in
other
like
name?
a lot of people like try to call you Amaka or like Chicho, like, oh,
Okay,
what's
they
the
don't
short name? I'm
shorten.
like, no, 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 my name is Chiamaka, like Chiamaka. Let's say it slowly, like I'm like, it's
Chiamaka.
okay. I know it's like, let's say it slowly. For real. That's how I pronounce my name in America. But for me, it's important that people know how to spell my name, right? It's like you
Mm-hmm.
can pronounce it how you want, but as long as when it's time to write it on paper, you can spell it out correctly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with how you pronounce it. Um, anyway, but it's also like things like food. Yeah, professors are speaking a lot. You're like, I can't relate. How about we like pipe it down? But I think that the year I spent in uni like helped, at least with the math classes.
Okay.
I said math was my favorite class, right? So my freshman year when I was doing things like calculus one and chemistry one, it wasn't so far into me. Like I
Mm-hmm.
knew what it was, I knew what to expect. It was I could just like sit down and focus on like, getting immersed and like not have to like fall behind in classes. So
Yeah.
but it's just like making friends and like realizing that, people are completely different from you. Like people have no idea. Or like you're exotic to people. They're like, oh my
Yeah,
god. You're
exotic.
from Africa, tell me, and then like tell you this one time. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I can't relate actually.
Yeah, it's like they mention you say you're from Nigeria, they mention one random part or like a
Yeah,
far off
I went,
country in
I went,
Africa. And like,
yeah, I went to volunteer in Zimbabwe. I'm like, love that for you. I
yeah,
don't even know, I can't relate. I don't know where
where
Zimbabwe
did it
is.
go? Yeah, yeah, it's yeah. I guess I feel like we still it's still a journey every day, even like
Of
as I am
course.
walking now. So like
Yeah.
because it's like you spend your whole life, your whole like culture, your whole learning is in a different culture. So like coming to different, so another one is very different. But
Mhm.
yeah, and I think I would prefer it this way. Like I love the fact that I got to school in America because apart from the cultural shock with like the bad things, not the bad things, but like the challenging things, there's also the
Yeah.
good parts that
Hmm.
helped me to I guess find my own voice. Coming from a
Yeah.
culture in Nigeria where it's like your authority figure is your God. Like whatever they say goes. You're not allowed to question. You're not allowed to think something other than that.
Yeah.
Coming to a culture here where it's like everyone's voice matters and you're able to speak up in
Hmm.
class and you feel heard.
Yeah.
You kind of grow into your own identity.
Hmm.
So I really really love that part. So I feel like if I grew up in Nigeria, I'll be a different person. Like I'm very very
You're
different.
right. No, you're right. Because I mean, a lot of times my cousin and I like talking about like is the way you are in nature versus nurture, right? Like if
Hmm.
you grew up your formative years, if like I went to school in Nigeria, would I still be the person that I am
Yeah,
today?
today.
Would
Yeah.
I like to do things that I like to do? So yeah, I think that there's definitely a privilege and a freedom that coming to America gives you that in a way you just don't get in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Um,
You don't. Mm-mm. Okay. So done. So you graduated with your bachelor's degree in chemical engineering. And I know you did research, right? So let's
it
enter
did.
the research part. So for research, was it something you always wanted to do? Was it something that you stumbled upon, seemed like a profitable career path with chemical engineering?
I don't know that I always wanted to do research. So when I look back at my essays that I wrote as
Okay.
like going to college, right? I remember saying I wanted to work. First of all, I was into like I wanted to do like find renewable sources of energy, make manufacturing processes greener. I always had big dreams. Okay, I was gonna win a Nobel Prize. I wasn't sure how.
You still can, though.
um,
You still can. Okay.
That's right. You just have to die first, or you anyway. Yeah, that's a different story. Yes, I still can win a Nobel Prize for sure. Um, but no, I think that I did some local research. So I was in the honors college in Manchester State, and
Okay.
I knew a few
That's the
people
smart
who
ones. That's the really
I
smart
know
ones.
we do our best.
We know. We know your work.
Um,
Uh-huh.
I'd seen people who are doing research. I heard about research. And so I think my sophomore year I actually approached the professor and was like, "Hey, like I'm interested in doing research in your lab because of these reasons." And
So
he actually
you
took a
approached
chance
the
on me.
professor.
Mhm, mhm,
Okay. And
yeah.
was there a reason why you felt drawn to that, like research?
So I looked up the different kinds of research that were happening, and I like was more interesting. His was like had to do with like green, trying to make green sources of energy and things like that.
Okay.
That would be a good place to start. So I reached out to him as a sophomore, and it's like I don't usually take sophomores. I also didn't know anything about you because he only taught like senior design. He's like, I haven't taught
Okay.
you, so like it's a bit risky. He's like, well, send me your resume and like come and chat. So I sent him my resume and my transcript, and he's like, you know what? Okay. And so
Okay.
that's how, and it was like computational modeling. And so it was really only me and him were there. Like it wasn't like I wasn't going into a lab. It was like all computational. And like I would meet with him bi-weekly and things. But I had a blast. I had a wonderful time. And then I got to present it at the like undergraduate research conference on campus, and I also really liked that. And so that opened my eyes to like, oh, this is fun. I enjoy doing this. And so I started to seek out more opportunities to do that, right? So I then went to and did a summer research program at MIT, and I really liked it.
MIT. Okay, I did. I can't miss that one. Never. Wow. Okay, doctor.
um,
Okay.
yeah, and that was really fun.
Impressive.
And I
Okay.
started to apply to grad school because I really do enjoy the process of working on the new problems, trying to solve it and figure
Mm-hmm.
it out. So yeah, and yeah, I went to grad school and I still like research, and so now I do research in a material science company. So yeah,
Okay.
so I was like
So I don't
research.
know if research. Well, for me, I think grade. For me in the US, I didn't.
Mhm.
Like you said, research is not something that's on the forefront of your mind, maybe because my
Yeah.
mind was on med school. So I never really considered research. I
Mhm.
never really saw a lot of internationals in research.
Mhm.
Because you just did your bachelor's, then PhD, you didn't do masters right in between.
Mm-mm.
Okay, right. Okay. So for international students, is it different being like I know in undergrad there are some things you can't do as international students. You're limited by
Mhm.
the courses you can take, the online courses you can
Yeah.
take, so many, yeah. So for a research student, it's not a typical 4 year degree. Are there some limitations or is it the same thing for internationals
Um,
and citizens?
it's really the same, right? So you just have to figure out who is going to take a chance on you because there are
Okay.
many ways you can do research. So the first time I did research, I think I did it. I don't even think I did it for credit. I think I might have to. So you can do research for class credit, right? In
Okay.
some majors, I think I just did it. It might have even been voluntary. It was unpaid. It wasn't even class credit. But then the second time I did it on campus, I got paid by the honors college to do it. And then one other time I took it as like class credit. So there are all those different ways that like because you're limited by how many hours you can work, right? And like research
Mm,
is not a conscious work if you like you can take it as class course credit, for instance.
okay.
The thing, so like a summer research program is just like going on an internship. All you need to do is apply for CPT, which everybody gets like curriculum practical training,
So
right?
the summer
You get
research
to
you did?
yeah, so I did
Okay.
that on CPT.
Okay.
So yeah, there are no limitations. Nothing happens. I mean, it's just really like you have to find somebody who is interested in working with you. Which at that point they don't care. Like they're not. It's not. They're not sponsoring your visa or anything, right? So it's just, do you
Okay.
have the time to do it?
Yeah.
Are you passionate about doing it? And then
Okay.
yeah, that's really. It. But I really do think it like changes your experience. I think that, and I tell this to all my cousins and my younger siblings. That is like people people are like, oh, I don't know if I like because research seems boring. Maybe, but you also
Okay.
don't know until you try it, right? And not all
Mm,
kinds of research are the same, but I think that everybody should at least do one semester of research, see whether they like it or not.
okay.
And that could really like change your trajectory of like what you decide to pursue. So yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it always seems boring. A lot of
Yeah.
papers, a lot
Yeah.
of reading. But yeah, if
Yeah.
you've managed to really carry out of it that you're enjoying, then it's
Yeah, but
worth
there's
it.
so many different kinds, right? You can be like in
Mm,
the lab, mixing things, you can be building things, you can be modeling, you can be programming. There's so many different kinds of things you can do.
research.
So yeah, I tell everybody I know, try research at least once. If it doesn't work out at school, you've lost nothing. If it works out
Right.
in something you didn't even know was possible. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
So, going through your journey from bachelor's to your PhD, um,
Mm.
what was the most challenging thing for you as an international student? Yes. What would you say?
Mm, I think that it didn't have, I would say the most challenge is that I didn't have a lot of time to do, I didn't do a lot of internships um, in undergrad just because I feel like a lot of companies weren't hiring international students where I went to school.
Okay.
And so it's just the opportunities were a lot fewer and a lot harder to get. And so even though I was top of my class, that didn't really amount to much. And so it almost feels like if I didn't fall in love with research, I would have gotten a job. It would have just been like a little bit more work than the average person who I went to school with.
Okay.
So I think that's for me, the like most challenging thing about being an international student is that to get some of these opportunities, you have to work twice as hard, even way harder than, other people. Yeah. And it sometimes just feels like it's not fair, but that's life in a different person's country. So
Yeah. I know, right? Not safe for our country, like anyways, yeah, that's true. That's a fair point. Like it
yeah.
does feel more difficult, and you feel like no one is recognizing your value, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like everyone is like not even aware. I feel like the system is designed to just not favor you, even if you
Mm-hmm.
have something more valuable to offer. So
Mm-hmm.
okay, all right, and to actually follow that up,
Yeah.
the most, yes, most popular way international students can gain a footing in the US in terms of like working and settling down is
Mm-hmm.
to have your company sponsor you for a work visa or for a green
Mm-hmm.
card. And so I know in my when I was approaching that part of my journey with applying and getting a job, the next question is how do I bring up I need sponsorship or do you sponsor? Some
Right.
people bring it
Yeah.
up during the interview, which I did,
Mm-hmm.
but then sometimes you also have to remind them that okay, April is coming, I need you to start filing things. So
Right. Yeah.
for you, how do you think the best way is to bring up that topic for internationals? Because that's where everyone is headed to. If you want to stay in the States, you know.
Yeah, I think that you ask this question to 100 people, they'll give you 100 different answers. So I
Yeah.
don't think there's a right way. I think that people do what's best for them. So I know that at the bachelor's level, it's a bit trickier because really people just don't like to hire international students because
Mm-hmm.
it's just a hassle. Um, and I've seen people who just don't bring it up at all, and they go through the process and they bring it up like before they start, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's okay, but sometimes they rescind your offer, right? So it's like there's not a it depends
Who
on
you're
the
dealing with.
company.
Yeah.
It really depends. So but I've always strongly believed, I always go through life just thinking that whatever is yours, and like if we
Mm,
bring it up early and they're like, well, we're not going to continue. That's okay. That job was not meant for you if you bring it
okay.
up late. So that's just how I've lived life. But I know that there's no good way, there's no good time. At the PhD level, it's a bit different because now you're like highly qualified and like there are options.
You need me.
Like, yeah, a job is nice, but I have options. So
Yeah.
it's a bit different. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess one thing is for international students, the more valuable you are, the easier it is to bring up the conversation with them.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. You just make yourself as valuable as you can be. And if it's like it's your job, if you'll find the job.
Yeah.
And it may take you a long time, right? We have friends who have it's taking them a while to get a footing. Like it's just everybody's story is different. So like it may take somebody like a shorter time, it may take you a longer time, but
Mhm.
everybody's story is different. Like eventually we all get there. It just sometimes the
Yeah.
path is a bit tortuous,
Different paths, exactly. That.
Be patient with yourself and the process. Yeah.
Yes, and this is the goal of this entire section of my channel is that recognizing that everyone's journey is different, everyone's
Yeah.
path is everyone's choices are different because we're all
Mm-hmm.
different human beings and
Yeah.
socially continue to be.
Yeah.
Appreciate your own journey, learn from everyone else's journey, take some
Mm-hmm.
tips, but realizing at the end of the day, it's your journey, it's your choices, your
Yeah.
decisions, your pathway.
Indeed.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah. That was
Mm-hmm.
all the questions I had. You answered them quick. But yeah.
Perfect.
To wrap it up, do you have so imagine you are talking to your younger cousins or younger siblings
Mm-hmm.
and with all the experience you've gathered, what's
Yeah.
one thing you'd say, but if you're coming after me, do this. These are things that
Mhm.
would have helped my journey be easier. Now I know, so I'm sharing it
Yeah.
with
I mean, honestly, I had a great 4 years in college, so I
you.
have no regrets. I
Okay.
wouldn't do anything differently. But I tell people like, take
Mhm.
college is only 4 years. Take advantage of everything.
Mhm.
Study abroad, right? I studied abroad in Paris, even though I was already in America.
Study abroad, abroad.
Greece. Yeah, I studied abroad as well. Being involved in a lot of different organizations. Like I joined like book club in Jonas, but I did so many things in college that helped me figure out like who I was and the things I liked, the
Okay.
things that I enjoyed, the kind of friends I liked. So
Mhm.
college is only 4 years and it's going to go by quickly, whether you're doing it or not doing it. So I would say get involved. You don't know how any of those experiences are going to come up in the future. So right, like even now in like the workplace, there are like experiences that I have from college that I can relate to with my colleagues because I like went out there and I did all these things. So just
Have a rich
get involved.
experience.
Take all do as much as you can. 4 short years is gonna go by so quickly, but those experiences stay with you forever. So yeah,
I like that. I really like that. That's good
yeah,
because that's another thing to help you get assimilated into the culture is to really
exactly.
experience the culture so that
Yeah,
you have things to fall back on when you are in that job with people from the culture you're in. So
that's
that
right.
is good. I
Yeah.
wish I would tell myself that because for sure. Um, okay, we are done. Thank you again,
Okay.
Chiamaka, for joining us. It was very short and sweet. I love it. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Yeah, this is great. Thank you.
Yeah.